If you don't have a cottage, you know, what about planting a cottage garden? They are so beautiful, and they have the most gorgeous cottage garden at Green Bay Botanical Gardens, one of the most popular spots. Take a look.
Here at Green Bay Botanical Gardens English Cottage Garden, and this is one of our most popular gardens at the Botanical Garden, thanks to our great gardener Linda Patton. There's a lot of really cool ideas in a cottage garden that you can use at your home. For example, a cottage garden typically has herbs and vegetables incorporated amongst flowers, so instead of having a separate vegetable garden, there's no reason you can't incorporate some of these things all together. Here there's basil, there's some nasturtium, there's some sage, it looks like, somewhere over there, some germander. And another great thing about cottage gardening is that they make use of all the space they have. For example, there's this tour here so that you can grow plants upwards and maximize a small amount of space that you might have. There's also some arbors coming over the entranceways that plants can be growing up, either gourds or squash or flowers, morning glory, something like that, wisteria, clematis. Cottage garden kind of has an informal look. Even though it looks informal, it does require a lot of work. But one of the cool things about it is our gardener Linda, or a person making a cottage, just can snark plants here and there. Take a plant, you know, just buy ones of different things and add them together to make a beautiful combination. Let things seed in and plant things amongst the hardscape. And the other thing about the hardscaping in this garden is it is just kind of a amalgamation or conglomeration of all different kinds of materials. Back when the cottage gardeners, they would just pick whatever things were thrown away sometimes and use them in their own garden. So you can see bricks, flagstone, boulders, all different kinds of things amongst the wooden fence all together. They make a beautiful garden. Another thing about cottage gardens is incorporating the edibles, like we talked a little bit about. But you can see climbing up here, there's a grape that can be used for jams or preserves. There's also bird houses that are put throughout the garden to attract birds that might eat insects that could be attacking your plants, so it's kind of a natural predator that's being fostered in here. And over on this other side, there's a large rhubarb plant incorporated in the planting. So not only is it edible, but it adds this really great big monster bold texture to the planting. We talked about the birds, now it's time for the bees. We have this little bees kept here to attract bees, and then the bees will go around and help pollinate all the flowers. They help get better vegetable sets, fruit and vegetable, and they also pollinate the flowers for those little seedlings that you want to spread throughout your whole garden. I'm allergic to bees, so I kind of stay away from this thing. That's probably a good idea if you are too. Another interesting thing about the cottage garden is using annuals that will self-seed. For example, these California poppies here are just seedlings from the previous year, so they're allowed to seed all over the place, and then they're weeded out as needed. And it kind of adds the informal look, and sometimes things just come and go, and sometimes things scatter throughout the garden in places you would have never thought, but it's more beautiful than you could have designed. I'm sitting here on this nice bench, which is great to incorporate into any garden, so you can have a little time to relax. And you can see when this all fills in up above on this arbor, there'll be a nice little shady place to relax out of the sunshine between different gardening episodes.